Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. Today's webinar will be about creating manga with watercolor style in Clip Studio Paint, presented by Zelda. Before we begin the webinar, there are some housekeeping items that we'd like to go through. The webinar will be approximately 1 hour long. All attendees will be muted. Question and answer session will be during the last 15 minutes of the webinar. Attendees can ask questions in the GoToWebinar question box right away. Due to time constraints, not all questions will be answered. The webinar will be recorded. The recording will be shared on social media and will be sent via email to all registrants and attendees. The panelists for this webinar are Mario Quiñones, myself, Joanna Brower, and Zelda. For those of you who connect with us for the very first time or have never heard about Clip Studio Paint, Clip Studio Paint is your all-in-one solution for stunning, ready-to-publish illustrations, comics, manga, and animations. Learn more at clipstudio.net/n and graphicsly.com. And with that, we'll pass the reins of the webinar to Zelda and her presentation, Creating Manga with Watercolor Style in Clip Studio Paint. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone, thanks Mario for the intro. Hi, my name is Zelda. I'm a freelance illustrator and a graphic novel or comic artist. I self-publish the Myth series. It's a collection of short stories based on the Greek mythology. I self-published it since 2008. You can find out more about me on my website, ZeldaCW.com. And today, I would like to share with you how how I design characters for my comic, or just design characters for fun. And then after that, I would like to demonstrate a little bit about how I color my drawings using the tools of Clip Studio Paint to get the soft watercolor style, like this one, or similar to this one. Okay, ready, let's go with the first part. Designing characters. When I design characters, I usually start with a face that I like, and then I think about their personality, think about a story. Some other times I might have a description of the character in text. I read about them and I imagine what they look like. And then try to come up with a face that fits the character. A lot of times I spend more effort on the face because I feel like having a unique facial feature is very important to bring out the personality. And it's also very important for comic, because if all the characters have very similar looking face, it gets very confusing for the readers to follow the story. This same face syndrome is like very common for a lot of artists. I think even in many published works, we can still see that problem. I think probably it's because a lot of the anime and manga style are very stylized and simplified to get that ideal, attractive looking face. And when we first start out, we practice a lot to get that ideal face that we want. And we just get used to this drawing the same face. So when we need a new character, a lot of times we just draw different hairstyle, different hair color, different eye color, and then call it a new character. That's what I used to do when I first started out. Okay, old work incoming. Jung, jung. Well, it's very embarrassing. But as you can see here, I did this back in, I think it was 2005 or something. So obviously, all the faces are exactly the same. Exact same eye shapes, exact same nose and mouth, and even the face shapes are the same. I didn't see any problem at the time when I made this. This was one of my older comic project. It's called Record of Time. It's very old. And I think at one point I was working on another project for myself. I was drawing a comic about an idol. And then I realized the problem because idols change their hairstyle and change their outfits a lot. So I saw the problem and I began to practice more. I tried to find a way to make sure the character can still stay identifiable and recognizable, even if he changed his hair or his outfit. I want to have more freedom with the outfits and hairstyle for my characters. So I started, yeah, that's another example. Exactly the same eyes. That's my very old work. So I had this goal for myself, kind of like the sauna challenge. Like imagine my own group of OCs, original characters, like going into this setting, have exactly the same outfits, and wrap their hair up. Can I still recognize who's who? Like if they take a black and white group photo, I want to be able to tell my characters apart. So that's like my own goal. I kind of work towards that, and I think, although it's not perfect, but I think I'm almost there. At least within the same series, the same story, I can tell my characters apart. So I'm sharing you the tip for avoiding same face syndrome today. I prepared this for you guys. It's actually not that difficult. It's similar to those games where you can customize your own avatar by selecting from a variety of various shaped eyes, nose, mouth, and face shapes. So we really just need to observe and study and try to draw different eyes, different noses, different mouths, and you mix and match the features, put them onto a face, and until you get a face that you like, or until you get a face that match the character you have in mind. Sometimes you can go totally the opposite, where you have a character who looks very gentle or very nice, but who's actually kind of evil inside. Or you can have a character who's very masculine and mean looking, but they're actually very kind or timid or shy. So that could have a different effect to your character. I think that could take your storytelling to another level. It could open up more possibilities. So here's an example. You just put the features on the face. You can totally tell them apart, right? Even when they're all bald and no outfit, no color. So I know that's kind of an extreme example. And by the way, I don't want to get any copyright problem. You didn't see that arrow. That's not okay. So I know probably a lot of people might not go to this extreme for your and this might not be your style. So if you want to stay with your usual, like the manga style, you want your ideal attractive face, you probably won't go for this face for your main character. I mean, probably. What I would suggest is, in that case, work on the eyes. You can do a lot with eyes. I show you here is an example of the left column. The first column is my usual drawing style. And then you can simplify it and stylize it so that you can even use it on chibis. So even chibis, you can have different looking chibis. Wait, for example, so eyes make a lot of difference. That's just quick example. So maybe even without the hair, you can kind of tell these are two different characters, even with chibis. Okay. So my usual style is a little bit more detailed, but if you simplify it but still maintain the same eye shape, you can tell the characters apart. This way, and also, if your story is like fantasy themed, like my myth comic, you can have a lot more freedom. You can be very creative and make up different eyes for your characters. This is an example of all my characters from myth because they are not human, so I went like this. You can see a lot of different weird looking eyes, especially for the primordials. So yeah, you can do a lot with eyes. Important things must be repeated 3 times. Eyes are important. I keep repeating this. Eyes are important. So work a lot with the eyes. This way, even if your drawing is in black and white and they have similar nose and mouth and maybe even face shape, excuse me, sorry, you can still tell them apart just with different eyes. And I hope that my tip was helpful. Okay, and now I would like to show you how I color. With the watercolor tools. There are several different watercolor tools in Clip Studio Paint. There's the round watercolor brush. There's the pure watercolor G. I don't think you can. I found that from Clip Studio Assets. I don't think that one is available anymore, but there's another one that's pretty much the same. I think the name is Transparent Watercolor G. It has the G in the name. And then there's also Dense Watercolor. I use my bunny for the model of this sample. You can play around with different tools in Clip Studio until you find the one I like. I mostly use the watercolor G, and the result is something like this. I will show you how my method with this one. Usually, hold on. Usually I start with a rough sketch, very rough. And then I do a line on top of it. I try to clean it up, but as you can see, it's still not all that clean. It's still kind of sketchy and a lot of broken lines. So that's why the bucket fill tool or the close and fill doesn't really work for me. I can't really use those. So I can't have those clean flat color style for this kind of line art. So I like to use the watercolor tool and lay down all the color on the same layer. It's similar to traditional watercolor method. You just do the first wash, second wash, and build it up. And then I change the line quality, changing the color of the lines so it looks softer. and can blend into the color more. After that, I usually flatten this whole thing, like merge the layers, copy that, put another layer on top of it, and paint over that. Add a little highlight, some color filter. There's a difference. And at the end, I usually like to add a layer of texture to give it the paper texture feel. I really like the texture in Clip Studio Paint. You can also find various different textures from acids. Okay, so this is like an example of my workflow. Now I will demonstrate to you with using this one. I dug out this drawing. This is actually an old drawing that I did pencil on paper. This is not digital. So you can see it's really messy. This was a scanned line art. So I didn't clean it up. It's kind of messy in various places. So the same problem, I cannot use the bucket tool or the close and fill for this kind of line art. If I have to go in and clean it up, it's gonna take a while. So I'm too lazy to do that. So I usually just use the watercolor tool to color over this line art. I have a sample of what it looks like when it's kind of finished. When I did my rehearsal run yesterday, that's what it looks like. But I will try to recreate that right now. So first step, usually I will lay down a base color using the pure watercolor G tool, usually starting with the skin tone or the background. Just putting the color down very lightly. And then sometimes I can also do the background color. I like doing this because I don't worry about the line art at all. This is like the first wash when you do watercolor. And then a little bit shading. A little bit darker color. Lay it down very, very lightly, like your pen or stylus barely touching the canvas. Just very lightly putting it down. And then I use the hotkey on my keyboard to use the eyedropper tool, pick the middle color. So I blend this way. Pick the middle color, keep painting, pick the color, and keep painting. And then I'm gonna use my favorite, my best friend, Lasso Tool. I cannot live without Lasso Tool pretty much. I think those of you who join my Twitch live stream a lot, they already know I love my Lasso Tool. I use the Lasso Tool to draw out the shape that I want to shade or I want to color in. So like this. It might look like a lot of work, but I got used to it. Once you get used to it, it's actually kind of easy. You can do it fairly quickly. Because it's just like drawing. You're using the lasso tool to draw. I think a little bit here. Then use the same tool, fill color. Again, very lightly. Very lightly. Dun, dun. And if the edge looks too sharp, you can soften it with the blur tool. Okay, and I think I'll demonstrate one of the eyes. The same thing, use the lasso tool to select it. Lighten the white of the eye, and then select the iris. I'm gonna give her blue eyes. This is one of my 9 muses, Melpomene. She's the muse of tragedy. So I'm gonna use a pretty blue color. Sometimes I will use the very soft air brush. So it's not all watercolor tool. Very soft air brush to do the highlight of the eye. Actually, wait, I deselected that too quick. Hold on. Wait till a minute. I forgot to add the lighter color here. Oh, wait, wrong tool. Wrong shortcut. There. Add a little bit of an warm color. And then using the G pen to make a very sharp highlight. And you can make some little dots, little highlight there. You make it look sparkly. And then I also use the same method for the eyelash. Select and fill with Watercolor Tool. I'm going to keep the center a little lighter. Darken the 2 sides. And then I will go back with my favorite pencil tool, pencil R1, and do some touch up. I sometimes color with this pencil tool as well because it has really nice texture, like this. It looks like that. So I really like making my digital art resemble traditional art, like the texture of traditional art. So if there's a tool with a nice texture, it's gonna be one of my favorites. So a little bit of a reddish color for the lower eyelid. I'm not sure if I want to start on the other eye. I'm just finished this eye. Cute eyelash. So like that. And then let me show you how I do the hair real quick. It's the same method. Sorry if this looks boring to you. I swear I will show you something different for the background after the hair. Actually, not that different now I think about it. Sorry, I lied. It's just you can use your lasso tool to draw things for your background. I'm gonna show you that in a moment. Let me just select the hair real quick. So what I usually would do is select all the hair, but Right now, I'm not sure if I have enough time. Wait, wait. I think that's hair. The problem with using an old sketch, I forgot. I think that part is hair. Yeah, and that's also hair. Okay, that should be enough for right now. So I selected the hair. You don't have to be super neat with the selection because you can always go back and touch it up with your pencil tool and stuff. So just roughly select all the area you want to color. And I usually put down a very light color first because the first wash is going to be your highlight. And then the darker color or the actual color of the hair. Wait, let me check. What color did I use? Sorry, I don't remember. Okay, yeah, a purplish color, purplish bluish. Okay. When you do the second wash, keep in mind where the highlight is. You can always add to your selection. Remember the hotkeys. It is very useful. You can add selection by using Shift, and then you can erase your selection using Alt key. So I do that a lot when I see some areas that I missed or some areas that shouldn't be included. And the bluish color for darker shadow here. So I just keep adding to the color. 1 layer, 2 layer. The more time you spend on it, it's gonna look more rendered. But right now, I'm okay with it being a little bit rough, a little bit sketchy. And then I'm gonna take away from my selection, erase, well, not erase, like delete part of my selection. That's gonna be the highlight. So I'm holding down the Alt key to delete selection. I think that's okay for now. Wait, let me here too. Okay, and then add another wash. So it's something like that. So like the edges, you can do touch up using the pencil tool. Oops. Oh, great. Oh, no. Wait. Clip Studio. Don't tell me. Oh, it's auto saving. Man, I forgot to turn it off for the webinar. Please save faster. It's auto saving. Sorry. Okay, we're back. I'm grateful for the autosave function actually. It's just that whenever it suddenly happens, it always kind of breaks my workflow. Okay, so something like that, you can touch up the edges. And let's not forget the eyebrow. I was working on the PC yesterday during live stream and then I forgot the eyebrow. I'm not gonna forget this time. Okay, so something like that. Okay, I'm gonna show you the what I do, how I did this background. So do it here. Same thing. You can use the lasso tool to select it. Wait, oh, here. Let's do a darker color. I think the lasso tool is very good for making like silhouette of foliage, like flowers and plants. Oh wait, actually, I'm gonna make a bigger one first. You can draw something that you want, draw a shape that you want. So I pretty much use the lasso tool as a drawing tool. Like so. Yeah, something like that. You can keep going and then make it even more detailed when you have the time. Right now I don't, so I'm gonna leave it like this. I always go from light to dark. Fill up the layers to show depth. And then lasso tool is also good for, what did I do out here? Yeah, like flowers, flower shapes. Let me do a quick one here. It's kind of like making stencil art. You select, draw out the shape, and then use your color to fill. Voila, flower-ish. I'm gonna, let me add another one here. No, maybe not there. and young, something like that. And then the same method, you can build up other shapes, draw other shapes. Hui, hui, hui. Oh, okay, back to the face. Actually, like there's one more thing I need to show about the face. A little highlight. Blur tool, soften the edge. When I'm done, let's pretend this is done. Let's pretend it's all colored in. Usually when I'm done, I would use the very soft airbrush with overlay blending mode and use a light warm color to add like a soft glow to the color. Like very lightly over the face, over the highlight area on the eye. You can also use a darker color to deepen the shadow. You can also make the color pop a little bit more. So this is like, you can call it done if you like this style, but if you want to make it look more neat or more rendered, you can always add another layer and paint over it. Well, no, that's not the right color. You can also add another layer and paint over it like this. If you want to hide the messy lines, I added another layer and then this is like a sample. I add one more layer and use the oil flat brush. Yeah, the oil flat brush to paint over it. So you can have different styles. If you like the oil painting look, or if you prefer the more transparent watercolor look. The color is different, huh? Well, I tried to recreate. The color of your hair is more purple this time. Let me see. Cool. Let's add a little bit of blue. That might be too much blue. Oh, and then the jewel. Let's color it with jewel. And a light color. And dark color in the middle. We're actually no, not in the middle. The edge. Use my pencil tool. Pencil tool, draw some highlights. And a G pen for sharper highlight. Wait, something's not right. I need to shade. I forgot to shade the middle. Let's see. Boy. Yeah, something like that. Okay. So for little details, I'll just go in with a pen or a pencil tool, draw it in, because all the little pearls might take too long using the lasso tool. And just quickly do the other eye. Airbrush, pencil tool, highlight, G pen tool, sharper highlight, and the little dots. You feel like little sparkle in the eye. Ah, shoot, I forgot to do the white of the eye. Forgot to do the white of the eye first. Yeah, like that. So another thing when I finish coloring everything, I might go and make the line art lighter. Without the line art, it looks like this. So if you keep on going and build more detail, you might be able to just get rid of the line art completely. I will use a mask on the line art layer and then erase some of the messy ones or the ones on the edges. Wait, not that eraser, soft eraser. You can lightly erase some of the ones on the edges so the lines blend into your color better in some areas. Say like over here. Or maybe I don't want that many messy lines on the eyelash. So yeah. Right now I'm using my pencil R1 tool to do a little shading. Like I mentioned earlier, sometimes I color with the pencil tool because it has a nice texture. Let's just quickly fill the mouth. Oh, by the way, my line art, I usually set it at not normal mode, like either linear burn mode or multiply. You can play around with your line art setting, with your layer setting, see whichever you like the most. Like if the line art is normal, it looks like this. Oh wait, because it's colored, so it doesn't really show. So I like to make it blend with my color. If it's multiply, it looks like this. Linear burn looks like this. I like it the most. And then just move down the opacity a little bit. This part needs to be erased. Hey. So you can also use the mask layer to clean up your line art as you color. Oh, okay. There we go. Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna keep on building color here. Okay.
Zelda, do you want to keep drawing and we go into questions?
Oh, sure, okay.
If it's
I
not
was
too distracting.
I was like I was a little bit worried. I was like, am I talking to myself here? Because I thought the time was up already. I was like, no, come on, stop.
We still have a few minutes, so you can just keep drawing, and we'll go into
Okay.
questions. Okay.
Okay.
How did you choose to draw in this watercolor style?
Because I actually used to draw different styles.
Mm-hmm.
I can show it real quick. Hold on. I also like a long time ago. A few years ago.
Yeah.
This style is like more the
Yeah.
line art has to be very neat.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the short answer is I got lazy. because you have to always have very neat line art. You have to clean up the line art, trace
Yeah.
over the sketch, and then you can fill color, right? But
Yeah.
I actually I'm not sure if I can show this. It's fan art. Oh shoot, sorry.
No, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
So
Okay.
that's okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. That's all good.
Okay. Okay, so like this one, the line art. Where's my line art? There.
Oh wow.
This is a few years ago. So that took a long time to
Yeah.
do. So I guess the short answer is I got lazy. I want to finish art faster, I guess.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
still do this sometimes. I still do this style sometimes. Just for
Mm,
different pieces, different artwork, different style. Sometimes I want to just have a like for my for hobby, Like maybe I have a character I like doing fan art and stuff. I might
Yeah.
just do the quick watercolor style.
Yeah.
But for work or for my art book and my own other project that I have to publish, I will probably still do this
Yeah.
style. Yeah.
Did you
But
use to
it's
do like actual watercolor as well, or just digital?
I actually did digital first and then I practiced watercolor
Oh wow.
traditionally
Oh, that's unexpected. Like
because
a lot of people go the other way.
because I started digital very early.
Mhm.
I think I started digital when I was around uh 14 or 13.
Yeah. Wow, that's early.
So so yeah, and I didn't really have watercolor at the time,
Mhm.
traditional watercolor at the time.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to do it because watercolor is really difficult. It's like one of the most difficult traditional tool if you want to actually do it very, very well because
Yeah.
there's no erase and you can't
Yeah.
paint over to cover mistakes. So you have to like plan out everything.
Mm.
So I was actually kind of afraid of doing watercolor for a long time. I was okay doing oil or acrylic painting because I can
Yeah.
always just cover up the part I don't like. But
Mm.
watercolor, I was like intimidated by it for a long time. But after I do digital, I kind of apply what I learned from digital
Mm.
art to when I do traditional watercolor. So
Yeah.
it helped me with like the color selection and how
Mm.
to blend colors.
Oh, okay.
So it helped me out with
Yeah.
traditional watercolor.
Yeah. That's interesting. That's really interesting that you go the other way. Um,
Hmm.
how do you usually choose your colors? Like in this instance, you have like the beige background and the light colored line art. Um, and then of course the other colors you added. Like what is your thinking behind that?
I usually have a toned background for all my stuff, like
Hmm.
even this,
Yeah.
and because I think this was learned from traditional art. I think like in class when we have to
Yeah.
do portrait study and like figure drawings, we usually draw on the toned paper, and with a toned paper you can quickly add shading and highlight.
Hmm.
On white paper you can't because it's already white.
Yeah.
So I got into this habit of always setting a tone on my canvas.
Hmm.
And then all the other color is just, I'm not sure how to put it, just based on the feeling.
Hmm.
Because I always like my line art light color, like
Yeah.
not super light, but colored, like not black. I rarely have an artwork where the line art is black. I like it look softer look. I like the softer looking to it. So
Yeah.
and then all the other colors, usually it's just based on the character
Mm.
or the feeling I want the picture to convey. For
Yeah.
this one, I use mostly bluish because, like I mentioned earlier, she's the muse of tragedy, so I wanted to have mostly blue, cool color tone.
Mm. Yeah. Very
And
cool. You
thanks.
s- you s- you sure make it seem like magic whenever you like using the lasso tool and then like boom color.
Oh, really?
Um,
Thanks.
especially for the stencils you have in the background, like
Mm,
you very freely drew the shapes with the lasso tool. Um,
mm.
did you have to practice that a lot in the beginning? Because I can
Um,
imagine like for a lot of people it may be difficult to imagine what they're doing with a lasso tool.
I, eh, I've, I've been using it for so long, I can't remember. I think I just got used to it
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's kind of like using it as like pencil.
yeah, yeah.
So you kind of just use it like a pencil and outline, like draw
Mm,
out a shape you want.
yeah.
You sometimes you can also do this for buildings, windows, houses, like a light silhouette in the background. So sometimes I do that too. Like it might look kind of wobbly. It looks wobbly, but But if it's like a very far away silhouette of something, it doesn't have to be super neat. So something like that, you can just shade it
Yeah.
in like it looks like something far away in the distance.
It's kind of amazing because a lot of people probably want some sketch lines to like, know the shape beforehand, and you're like just adding things to it already. So I think that's very impressive.
Thank you. But you can always touch it up later after the lasso tool if you don't like
Yeah.
the shape.
Mm.
I think it's like because I don't have a lot of time, so I keep looking for shortcuts.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes laziness helps. Laziness can help.
Do you have any artists that inspired you to go more in this direction, or in general just artists that inspire you?
In general, uh, suddenly drawing a blank in my head. Oh no.
It's okay.
Ah,
It's okay.
sorry, I suddenly can't think.
No.
I have a lot of artists that I admire, but I suddenly right now I can't think of like one that sorry.
No, okay, okay. Let's move on. Let's move on. Just the general questions, like what size do you usually work in?
The
Like,
canvas size?
you have like a really big, like your canvas size is not that big, but you have like a really high resolution on this one.
Oh, because I liked I like my canvas bigger on the screen,
Mm.
and I don't like everything like cramped up. So yeah, I use a high resolution because I'm used to having working on my bigger monitor
Mm-hmm.
and then use Wacom Intuos. I used it for like a long time, 15 years I think, but
Yeah.
the Intuos recently died.
Oh
So
no.
I thought I'll try Cintiq for once.
Mm-hmm.
So I got like a medium size, not too big, a
Yeah.
Cintiq, but it's much smaller than my monitor. So
Hmm.
the screen that I look at when I work is a lot smaller than I'm used to. So I had to set it to a higher resolution to get most of it.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise it's just too small. Like the area I can work on, it feels like so small.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really like that.
So
And
so you use a Cintiq? Do you know what size it
ooh,
is?
size. It's the Cintiq 16 HD.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not sure what size it is.
Yeah, yeah. Then it's just if it's a 16, then it's the 16-inch
No,
diameter,
okay.
I think.
Okay. Okay.
You just use like a laptop or like a computer setup for your work.
I use a PC, yeah, computer.
Okay.
I don't.
You also stream, right? Like in
Mm,
general. So
I
that's why.
stream regularly every week.
How's that for you? Is it like how does it fit into your work? Is it just like you just want to chat with your audience, or is it like um
Mm, at first, I thought I could just use the chance to talk to people more
mhm.
because due to the pandemic, I don't really I don't I used to go out to teach at like kids drawing class. That
Oh
was like
really?
my only chance to talk to people. and then, now because of the pandemic, that class was like canceled, so I don't go anymore. So I really don't talk to a lot of people. So I just decided to stream more, and then I thought I could work on the stuff that I usually have to work on anyway during the stream.
Mhm.
Actually helped. I think it helped a lot to prepare me for today because otherwise I'd be very, very, very nervous.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think I got used to it more because of my stream.
yeah. That's great. That's great. Um, how long do you usually work on an illustration?
For something like this, like a more of a sketchy line art watercolor style, maybe I can finish up in 1 or 2 days. So
Mhm.
around of actual hour, maybe around 8 hours.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But
Mm,
if I had to do something like more of a full painting,
mm.
like one of these. Wait, where's my thinking? like this one, like the one in the middle, or like the
Yeah.
one I showed earlier with the nature line art.
Mm-hmm.
Those probably takes around. It would take around 10 to 20 hours
Yeah.
ish.
That's yeah. I mean, they look so super detailed and with all the little highlights and shadows. It's just very incredible to look at.
Thank
Um,
you.
Let me check. We're almost at the end here.
Okay.
uh,
I'm not excited. So sorry. I mean, it's almost.
oh, do you have
I mean,
um do you have any like advice for people who would like to draw like in a more watercolor style? I mean, we've learned like so much already from the way you work, or just from your from the beginning of the stream, like when it comes to the same face syndrome, like one final like overarching advice for digital artists who are a bit scared of starting.
oh, eh, hmm. I think it's just have fun with your art. just just have fun. Like don't think of it like in a don't judge yourself in a harsh way. We're all still learning. I'm still learning. A lot of professional or big artists, they're probably also still learning to improve every day. So, and don't compare yourself with other artists or other artists who are younger than you or something like that. Always just compare with your own progress. Compare with your old art, see if you improved. And I think most important is to have fun. Like
Yeah.
try out different styles, try out different draw different things. If you get stuck on something, you can say like if you're stuck on drawing people, maybe you can draw animal for a change for a few days, and just don't be too harsh on yourself. Do a lot of study though, if you have time, and draw a little bit every day. Keep a sketchbook if you can. If not, you can doodle in Clip Studio sometimes. There's Clip Studio app for mobile. If you don't have a laptop or PC, you can just doodle, and also study from real people will help too. Like don't always try to copy a certain anime style. You can also study from realistic drawings. That really helps. At least that's what I did. Because I never really go for a certain anime style. I
Yeah.
just kind of draw what I see around me, real people or cartoon people, all the same. So practice a lot. Practice,
Yeah.
and have fun. Yeah, I think. Yeah. I will say goodbye with this face. No, never
Thank you
mind.
so
Here, this
much.
one. My bunny
That's
flash.
oh, that's so cute.
Mm.
All right.
Thank
Um,
you.
Thank you so much. We'll give it back to Mario now.
Thank you so
Okay.
much, Joanna, and thank you so much, Zelda. Everybody loved
Thank
your
you.
presentation. They learned a lot. And before we go, let me just share one last bit of information. If you want to learn more about Clip Studio Paint, visit our website clipstudio.net/n and graphicsly.com. And remember that this webinar has been recorded, so we'll upload it to Clip Studio Paint channel, YouTube channel, and also Graphicsly YouTube channel. And for more information about Zelda, follow her on her social media. If you want to continue following her on her stream, go to her Twitch. And with that, thanks again, Zelda. We loved you today. Thank you so much, Joanna. And thank you
Thank
all
you.
who are still with us. Um, and remember to stay tuned for more webinars, information, promotions, and tips of Clip Studio Paint in our social media. So with that, thanks again, Zelda.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joanna.
Thank you too.
So see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.